Hello YouTube and welcome to part 3 of this tutorial how to bring a Deltaglider from planet Earth into a transfer to the moon, bring it into an orbit with the moon, and even landing on a spaceport Brighton Beach on the moon. So let's get started with part 3 of this tutorial. And let's go inside. As you can see here on the white letters is that we are currently 750 kilometers away from Brighton Beach. So let's start with the left MFD with the communication / navigation MFD to start with the radio beacon of Brighton Beach. That is 160.30 megahertz. And for landing pad 2, it is where we are going to land, is 132.30 megahertz. So when you have done this, you can go to the /fetal MFD, which is of course stating that we have no signal yet, and that is because we are 680 kilometers away from Brighton Beach. And the radio beacon of Brighton Beach has a what's the word I'm looking for? A range of 500 kilometers. So we are 150 kilometers away. So what we are going to do for now is press the level horizon button. Because I think that we are flying with a speed of 1600 meters a second. So yeah, you have to be a little bit quick, although you have enough time, but you have to be a little bit quick, if you know what I mean. So let's fast forward a little bit. Now we are in range, as you can see, and I'm going to slow down the simulator for a bit, because when I'm pressing this track button and zoom in a little bit, you can see that our orbit plot is north of Brighton Beach, and therefore we would like to have this green arrow for a correction, so that our orbit path is matching and flying over Brighton Beach is facing to 90 degrees over here, these green arrows. So what we're going to do
rotation
is first go to rotation, by the way, by pressing the / button on your numpad, going to normal speed and going to 90 degrees direction. Because the green line on the left MFD, the square on top of it, is the actual flight direction for your landing spot. I'm sorry, the radio beacon. So Brighton Beach. So we are at 90 degrees almost. And what I'm going to do now is perform a burn. Plus sign on my numpad. Keep an eye, by the way, on this value. You keep it on 90 degrees. The other way around. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, we started with 500 kilometers away, and currently we are only 378 kilometers away, so you have to be a little bit quick with this maneuver, because now it's very easy to overshoot Brighton Beach. That is of course something we don't want at this point. There it is. I hope 180 degrees, so that's yeah, sort of retrograde position. Only then with the horizontal level, of course. And almost there. Because we are currently flying 260. I'm sorry, we are 255 kilometers away from Brighton Beach, and we are flying with a horizontal speed of difficult word of 1500 meters a second. Our vertical speed, so let's say our falling speed towards the surface of the moon, is 40 meters a second. So we are almost at a position that we are going to break a little bit, so let's start with it right now. We are 206 kilometers away, or 5, and as you can see, our yeah, horizontal speed is decreasing. I think that we will do this to, let's say, approximately a horizontal speed of 800 meters. Also notice that your vertical speed is increasing. So again, your falling speed towards the surface of the moon, 44 meters a second. So now we are flying 490 meters a second. We are falling almost to 100 meters a second. So as you can see here in the middle, our altitude is yeah, decreasing. Now so far so good. So I think it's, I'm looking at what I'm going to do. Braking a little bit more and make one final correction at the other side, because our flight orbit path, let's say, is now south of Brighton Beach, so I would like to make one final correction to that. And that's of course then at 270 degrees. 15 kilometers above the surface. Something like this. Let's go back to 180 degrees again to perform a burn. Also, I'm going to use my hover engine right now because I'm seeing that we are falling 200 meters a second, and our altitude is 7 kilometers approximately. Well, we are still on the right track. We are going away from the surface, let's say. Alright. But we are still 70 kilometers away from Brighton Beach, so so far so good. Nothing to worry, really. I'm flying 150 horizontal meters a second, let's say. So what I'm going to do is opening my retro doors, and my altitude is also decreasing again. So I'm going to go into 0 degrees and breaking the vertical speed a little bit. There we go. So, approximately 50 kilometers away from Brighton Beach, falling with a let's say 20 meters a second. Altitude is 5 kilometers. So far so good. Retro doors are open, so that means that I am able to use the minus sign. In other words, yeah, perform some retro burns while facing a prograde position, let's say. Our altitude is near the 4 kilometers. Let's say that at 2 kilometers we are going, starting to break it a little bit again. So I'm sorry for the noise on the line. The closer you get. Thank you very much. Of course, the closer you get to the surface of the moon, the harder it's going to pull.
2500.
Alright, so we are nearly the 2 kilometers above the surface. So what I'm going to do now is brake a little bit more. Still so far so good. Let's have a quick look outside. As you can see here, there's Brighton Beach. So what I'm going to do now is kill this and clicking the hover hold altitude option. That is the autopilot that maintaining the altitude, so now we can focus to get above our landing spot. So we're 26 kilometers away. Going to slow down a little bit. The horizontal speed I'm going to slow it a little bit down to, let's say, 100 meters a second. fast forward a little bit. Alright, so 10 kilometers away. Going to perform a retro burn again. And on normal speed, of course. To, let's say 50 meters a second or something. Something like this. Alright. Now I'm going to press the navigation button for our landing spot. That's the 132.30 megahertz. And now I'm going to rotate the Deltaglider a little bit so that our green line is again at 360 degrees. And
translation.
With translation, by pressing 1 currently, so that the yellow line and the actual flight direction is also matching this green line. Something like this. Brake a little bit. 15 meters a second.
Rotation.
So far so good. Let's have another look. I think it's safe to fast forward a little bit. So we're 2 kilometers away.
Translation.
Slowing down. Using the 9 button with the translation mode.
Rotation. Translation.
All right. Going to slow down to, let's say, 1 meter a second.
Rotation. Translation.
No.
Rotation. Translation.
A quick look outside. Exactly. Fast forward a little bit.
Rotation. Translation.
Almost there. So 70 meters away. As you can see, this green square is going towards the middle, and of course when it's at the middle, then we are above our landing spot. Back to normal speed again.
Rotation. Translation.
Alright, so we are nearly stopped, and now what we are going to do is disengage the autopilot for the Hoover and slowly let it fall. Of course, bring out the landing gear.
Gear down.
Thank you. So we're falling 13 meters, 14 meters a second, 15. Let's have another look.
$1,000.
$500 meters above the ground.
400.
Thank you. Yeah, now it's a case just to be very gentle on the lever of the
300.
Hoover. I'm using the mouse, as you can see.
200.
Yeah, of course it takes a while, unfortunately. I wouldn't dare to fast forward it now, because then it would be a huge failure.
$100.
But as you can see,
50.
we are not going to land in the middle of
40.
the landing spot, unfortunately.
30. 20. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Oh. Man. So as you can see, I
50.
need some practice also.
40. 30. 20. 10. 10.
And that is how you land. A Deltaglider on the moon, and apparently well, it's not quite in the middle, but I'm happy. This is the second time actually that I've landed this thing here on the moon, so yeah, well, that will end this tutorial, YouTube. I would like to thank you for watching, and yeah, if you have any questions regarding this, of course, yeah, let me know, and I'll do my best to help you regarding Orbiter 2010, the space simulator. So YouTube, thanks again for watching, and till next time, have a good one. Bye bye.
No way. That's great.